few weeks ago, I ended my Yamaha R7 review with a snapshot showing those bikes as R7's potential competitors. In this video, I will compare them in detail on key parameters. If you like the idea, please hit the like button to help more people see the options they should be evaluating. Number 1 is price, and let's compare the base model as well as the top spec prices so that you can get an idea of what's the cheapest you could get the bike for, as well as if you decided to go full send on features and options, how big of a hole in the pocket are we talking? The Yamaha R7 base model seems to be priced competitively at $9,000 with ABS as standard. It's $9,200 if you want the quick shifter. Interestingly, Yamaha is offering a bunch of accessories that are typically aftermarket, and with all those options added, it's closer to $10,000 in the US. But if you did the price comparison going from low to high, that would peg the Ninja right at the top. The cheapest new Ninja 650 you could buy would be the 2021 non-ABS version for $7,600, although I would strongly advise you against a non-ABS unless you're gonna take it to the track. In fact, if you're gonna take it to the track, the R7 is the better option. The top spec Ninja would be the 2022 KRT edition with ABS, which would set you back $8,300 before taxes and sneaky dealer charges. Next in line is the Honda CBR 650R, which interestingly does not have any trim options listed on the US website, except that the 2020 version is red and the 2021 is matte black. So the cheapest Honda CBR 650R you could buy comes with ABS and traction control as standard, costs $9,700 plus taxes and charges, and adding the optional Honda quick shifter would make it $10,000 to $50,000. Guess the extra money is for the inline-4 engine and a fancy traction control which neither the Kawasaki nor the Yamaha has. However, when it comes to being fancy, the Italian Stallion takes the cake at $11,300 for the black and lava red versions and $11,500 for the acid gold, which technically is not a different trim but just a more expensive and sought after color scheme apparently. So before you lunge for the R7, it's worth your time and money to find the sweet spot between the $7,600 Ninja and the $11,500 Aprilia. At the end of the video, I will share which one's the best bike based on riding preferences, but first let's dive into the individual parameters to arrive at that conclusion. And let's start with looks, since that's the first impression. In my opinion, all four bikes look pretty good, but if I had to rank them, I'd say the Aprilia is the best looking, followed by the R7. And since I'm impressed with the changes Honda made to the CBR 650F to make it the R model, I'd rank it right above the Kawasaki, which even though is the last, it's much snazzier than the previous generation Ninja 650s. Let me know in the comments if you agree with the looks ranking scale I've got here, and while you do that, let's take a listen to the stock exhaust notes of all four motorcycles starting with the R7. Although it's only fair to compare stock exhaust notes like I did, you can't ignore the fact that aftermarket exhausts would make all these bikes sound much cooler. Getting into specifications, let's start with power. The Yamaha R7 has been unfairly compared to the 1999 YZF R7 or even the R6, but it's actually targeted at younger, newer riders, and 73 horsepower should be enough to enjoy street riding as well as track days. I couldn't find any reliable top speed figures since the bike is fairly new, but I'd expect it to go 135 miles per hour or faster. The Ninja is the tamest of the lot at 67 horsepower, but don't let that fool you into believing that it's a slow bike. It can still do speeds of up to 130 miles per hour, which is not legal on any street or highway anyway. The Honda CBR 650R is actually more powerful than both the bikes and makes 94 horsepower. It's got the highest top speed at 149 miles per hour thanks to the inline-4 motor. The Aprilia makes the highest power and hits the 100 horsepower mark and weighs only 403 pounds. The top speed is second fastest at 140 miles per hour. And that's what makes you realize that specs aren't as important as real-world performance, handling, and comfort. The Ninja 650 beyond a doubt is the most comfortable street bike in this comparison because of the upright bars, comfortable seat, and low foot pegs. The handling is great for city streets, and a touring windscreen upgrade would make it perfect for long distance. The CBR 650R would be the next most comfortable bike because the foot pegs are a bit higher, riding position is a bit more lean forward. And here's a fun fact, I've ridden its previous generation sibling, the CBR 650F, on a 1000-mile ride in India without breaking my back, and I also took it to a Formula 1 track for a couple of track days. So I'm pretty certain that the CBR 650R is treatable as well as capable for an occasional track day. The Yamaha R7 and the Aprilia RS 660 would be very close in terms of how comfortable they are because the seating position for both bikes has been designed between a comfortable street bike and an R6, so they'd share third place. In terms of rider aids, all four motorcycles have ABS and an assist slipper clutch, which is great because it makes the clutch pull lighter and prevents rear wheel lockup under aggressive downshifts. The R7 and CBR have optional upshifts only quick shifters to enable clutchless upshifts, but the Aprilia is the fanciest with a bi-directional quick shifter as standard, and that leaves the Ninja 650 as the only bike in this category that does not have a quick shifter option. Although to be fair, you can buy an aftermarket quick shifter for the Ninja for about $300 if you really see the value in not having to pull the clutch in for upshifts on the streets. A switchable traction control is available on the Honda and the Aprilia, but not on the Yamaha or the Kawasaki. Aprilia's traction control is a bit fancier with 8 different levels of traction. Beyond these, it's just a long list of electronic wizardry that the Aprilia has and none of the other bikes have. 5 riding modes, 3 power modes, 3 levels of cornering ABS, switchable wheelie control, and a 6-axis IMU that enables all that. And I might have forgotten a few. Another aspect I like to pay attention to is reliability. The Honda and Yamaha are at par, but I'd rank the Kawasaki only a tad bit behind, only because some of my friends have had issues on more occasions than one. The Aprilia is actually the most unpredictable when it comes to reliability, with reports of people who have ridden them for a couple of years with no issues whatsoever, and then there are people who decided to sell the bikes because of tech issues, lack of service network, and part delays. So it's important for you to decide which of these parameters are more important to you and how much money are you willing to pay for that. And before I share which bike is the best in this comparison, let me tell you that since my ZX6R is now completely track setup, I'm evaluating a beautiful new bike that I think could be my next street bike. You should subscribe to the channel to watch that video next week. And as for the best bike, if you're coming from a smaller capacity motorcycle, consider yourself to be an intermediate rider, and most importantly, see yourself riding the track often, the Yamaha R7 is the most economical and capable option. However, if you can spare a bit more money, the RS 660 definitely has more bells and whistles which are worth the money, especially if you have a good Aprilia dealership nearby. The Ninja 650 is the best of the lot if comfort is your priority, especially if you're a new or intermediate rider and do not wish to spend a lot of money. It's great for long rides and touring as well. But if you're coming from a 300 and you love the big bike looks, sound and power characteristic, and track days are not your priority, the CBR is the best and most reliable street bike you can own for under $10,000. In fact, it's the only 650 that has an inline-4 engine. Which one is your favorite bike? Let me know in the comments below, and share this video with your friends that you think need to see your point. This is Faraz, as crazy about motorcycles as you are.